Oh my God, I don't want to work out right now. I'm gonna do it anyway, though. Hey, what's going on, guys? If it's your first time to the channel, my name is Zach, and I'm currently running Jeff Nippard's Bodybuilding Transformation program. My goal over the next 12 weeks is to lose as much fat as possible while maximizing muscle retention and maybe even a little bit of muscle gain if it's possible. I bulked over the winter for 20 weeks. I gained an average of 0.4 pounds per week, ended up 8 pounds heavier at the end of it. Definitely enjoyed some size and strength gains from that. And now I'm trying to cut off whatever excess fat I have on and keep all of those gains. So, I'm currently in week 2 of 12 of the program, and this is the first week where you take every set, every working set to absolute failure, okay? The first week is considered to be, as Jeff calls it, an intro week or a deload week, although I would personally say it's a little bit more intense than what you would traditionally call a deload. On that first week, volume is kept low across the board, typically 2 working sets of everything. You are finishing your last working set, usually at an RPE of somewhere between 7 and 9 on occasion. First set RPE is somewhere in between 6 and 8. That is for the first week only. And after that, pretty much every set leading up to the final set, starting on week 2. Every set leading up to the final set, you take it to an RPE of 8 to 9. And then every final set of every exercise starting week 2 is full out failure RPE 10. So this was my first week of pushing all of these exercises to true failure. Um, I saw Jeff in his video where he was explaining the way he designed this program, and for the sake of scientific integrity, he was really taking every exercise, like barbell incline press, for example. He literally took it to the point of failure and beyond, where he could not get another rep, and the bar ended up coming back down on him, and the safety pins were there to catch him. But I haven't taken it that far, as far as intentionally failing a rep that I know I'm not going to get. What I've been doing is pushing every set so hard that I am 99.999% sure there's absolutely no way that I'm possibly going to get another repetition. So that's how I've been personally running this program. I've missed a rep here or there, but I have pretty much pushed myself all out, getting in the headspace of I'm going to go to war on this, push it as hard as I can. I've really done my best effort to take all of these last sets to true failure, but I'm not going to push it beyond that to where I just know there's no point in trying any harder because the weight's going to come back down on me. Because for me, that's just so fatiguing that it kind of uh, compromises the quality of all the subsequent sets that I'll be doing after that. That's just how I look at it. So yeah, and another exception I'm making to all out failure training is that, as you can see here on day 2, the leg training, the squats, I'm not going anywhere near failure on those particular exercises. And the reason for that is in February, um, earlier this year, I was biasing more low bar squatting for more strength development. And I actually ended up tweaking my lower back on a set of low bar squats. It wasn't even a heavy set. I was warming up for my session. I was still sore from the deadlift session earlier in the week, but I impulsively didn't listen to my body. I just wanted to get the session in because we were leaving for a weekend vacation, and it was either train on that Friday or miss the whole weekend and don't get the session in at all. So instead of skipping the session, went ahead and started warming up for my low bar squats. And on my last warm up set, which was only it's 205 pounds, and not heavy at all, really, by most people's standards, I got to the bottom of the movement and ended up tweaking my lower back, and it did not feel great. So I've been really babying squatting movements. Leg press, I can push very hard. Anything that doesn't involve loading the spine and hinging, like barbell rows, I practically couldn't do for a little while there. I had to take it very easy on barbell rowing, just like an empty bar, even putting 10 pounds on the bar. Did not feel great on my lumbar area there. So that is the reason for that. Just easing back in to training heavier squats, heavier Romanian deadlifts, heavier deadlift movements, hinge movements in general. That's something I'm babying myself back into. Not going to push those all the way to failure. That will be the only exception for this program. And that is actually why I've made a couple of slight adjustments in his programming just to accommodate myself and my issues. On one of the upper body days, it calls for pendlay rows, and the last set is failure plus lengthened partials. So you do as many strict pendlay rows as you can, and then you squeeze out a few more in that stretch position. That would just fry my lower back too much at this point. It's starting to feel good to the point where I'll start to probably be able to incorporate those again within the next month or so. But instead of that, I opted for chest supported hamstring throws. And as you saw a little bit earlier in this clip here, I was able to hit those with a lot of intensity and really squeeze out some of those lengthened partials. I was super sore the next day. So that's a good takeaway for you guys. Don't be afraid to, write your workouts in pencil, not in pen. Don't be afraid to use the eraser and cut out something that is not working for you at that moment in time and replace it with a better exercise that feels better for you. You can always get back to that exercise. There are no mandatory exercises, right? So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. As far as the way this program is structured, again, it is it's a 5-day-a-week plan. Day one is an upper body day, so push, pull, upper body. Day two is a lower body day, followed by a rest day, and then it'll go pull, push, legs. So upper, lower, rest, pull, push, legs, rest, and repeat. That is how the program is structured. Me personally, I've been more or less adhering to that exact schedule. After the first leg day of week 2, I was so sore that I knew I would not be, when it was time to do the second leg exercise, the second leg day of the week, I knew that I was not ready, was not recovered enough to hit that workout with the proper intensity. So learning from my mistake that I made earlier this year on leg day, I took an extra rest day, and that kind of threw off the weekly schedule a little bit. I'm not really married at this point to doing workouts on very specific days if I'm just not recovered enough, or if some family thing comes up, if there's some kind of emergency that won't allow me to hit the workout on Tuesday. If I had it scheduled on a Tuesday and it has to wait till a Wednesday, that's okay. I'm allowing myself to be a little bit more asynchronous with these workouts. I'm trying to follow the general structure as much as possible, but if workouts get kind of pushed back or have to get rescheduled to later in the week, that's fine, and the overall weekly schedule will just shift accordingly. One thing I've really been enjoying about this plan is at the end of the push and pull days, you're using mile rep techniques to really blow out the arms. So at the end of the pull day, you've got your preacher curls plus mile reps. At the end of the set, to extend that set, you do as many reps as possible to failure on the preachers. You rest 5 to 10 seconds. You do 3 to 4 more reps, and you keep going until you can no longer get 3 clean reps. Those have felt great. It's a very good finisher, if you will. And for the triceps, it's the same thing with one-armed kickbacks. You can kind of do them bent over with your torso like this at an angle, or you can just do them upright. in more of like a one arm push down fashion. I've been doing them upright just because it feels more comfortable for me, especially with the back stuff that was going on. And I feel like I'm wasting less energy by, having to put myself in this horizontal position. It still feels great on the triceps. I just did them last night. As I record this, I'm in the middle of week 3. And man, my triceps are sore from hitting that finisher last night. Out of all the workouts, I'd say I probably enjoy the push day the most, just because I really enjoy bench pressing. I haven't bench pressed heavy in a while. It used to be my, just like all meatheads, that used to be my go-to movement every single Monday. Me and the guys would sit at the bench for an hour and a half and just bang out endless sets. So the barbell bench press has always been my first real love above, any other exercise. It's definitely my favorite out of all the big 3. So I did kind of overshoot the poundages a little bit on this week, just because I just personally enjoy pushing myself with heavier weight, for me at least, on the bench for lower reps. The prescribed rep range for day 4, the first exercise, barbell bench, prescribed rep range is 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. I put 225 on the bar, tried to maintain very strict technique, and I ended up getting 2 sets of 7, as you saw a moment ago. And for the last set, I just knew I wasn't even going to get, I might have gotten 5 or 6 on the last set. So I dropped it down to 205, and I was able to get closer to that target rep range, dropping it for my third and final set. Really enjoyed doing the cable lateral raises. Just got these wrist cuffs from the Hypertrophy Coach website, as recommended by Dr. Mike Israetel. Really enjoy using these. It's always felt kind of awkward holding onto those handles when you're doing cable lateral raises, or even if you wrap a strap around the handles. It just, I don't know, it's that extra friction between your hand and the cable, having to hold that attachment. I was never really a big fan. It feels way more natural to have these wrist cuffs on and be able to directly raise the cables up with your hands. Really liking that. And if you noticed here on a lot of these exercises, they are really biasing the stretch position, and that is by design. The stretch position of an exercise may be slightly more muscle growth promoting than the contracted part of an exercise. So Jeff, by design, implemented a ton of exercises in this program that really put the target muscle in more of a stretch position. So off the top of my head, like the bottom half dumbbell flies, the incline curls, really coaching to get a deep stretch on all of your presses, doing a lot of lengthened partials at the end of pulling exercises, because the easiest part of a pull is in that stretch position. So the most difficult part is definitely in the fully shortened position. So if you're stopping at failure once you can no longer do a completely full rep to where you fully lock out that shortened position, you're probably leaving a lot on the table, because that stretch position may have 5 or 6 reps left. And that seems to be the case with all of the exercises that Jeff is programming for you to take beyond failure with these lengthened partials. So like cable rows, for example, your last set, you're doing lengthened partials. The lying leg curls and seated leg curls, a lot of lengthened partials are incorporated on those on your last set. I personally really enjoy doing them. I get a great pump. I'm sore for the next couple of days, which is not like the number one indicator of whether you had a good workout or not, but it's still a solid indicator that you did hit the target muscle. You did what you came to the gym to do. You hit the muscle. That's a good indicator that you effectively targeted what you were coming to target that day. So I do think that soreness in that regard is a good proxy. So that's going to be about it for this video. We are going to come back next week with a recap of week 3. And at the end of the 12 weeks, I'll be sharing a before picture, an after picture, some before measurements of the waist, some after measurements of the waist. We will see how much fat I have lost, how much muscle I was able to hold on to, We'll see if I even gained any muscle, which is unlikely, but possible. And we will see overall how my physique has transformed over the last 12 weeks. So again, I started at 189 pounds. As of this moment, as of today, my weight is 184.8. So I'm down about 5 pounds almost at this point, or a little over 5 pounds. I'm about 6'1", 6'2". So I really don't want to go much lower than, 180-ish. I could get down to maybe the high 170s, but anything lower than that is less than I want to weigh personally. So don't have a ton of fat to lose here, but I would like to get some visible abs popping again for the summer. We'll just see how this little experiment goes at the end of the 12 weeks. And we'll see how much of a transformation I've really been able to make under this program. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any other questions about the program or anything else, feel free to drop a comment below. Let me know what program you're on right now. Let me know if there's something that I should try after this program is over with. Please like, please subscribe, continue to hang out as we document this every week, and let's see how far we can go. Thanks and have a good day.